And we're back on this 190 build from Copart. In his last episode, we managed to fix quite a lot of rust issues on this thing, but before we go any further, we need to make sure we can actually stop, because right now these brakes are genuinely terrifying and it needs a service which this car's been desperately crying out for, so let's get into it. So this is what we've got to fit. We've got some Mintex discs and pads. I mean, they're not top quality, but they're middle at range, and they're going to do a better job than what I'm just about to show you what we're replacing it with. We've got his new transmission filter, we've got his new oil filter, we've got some Miller's transmission fluid. I think it's going to take about 6 litres, and we've also got some Miller's 1040 semi-synthetic oil and a new sump plug. So let's get all these on in this video. Just look at these, rusty, scored discs, pads thinner than my patience. Honestly, these brakes have seen more history than the Berlin Wall. So we're swapping everything, new discs, new pads, and we're bringing back some Mercedes dignity. Very crusty that, innit? Can't even see pad. So that's exactly why we need to replace them. Got no pad left, to be honest, so we'll get this disc off. We'll get that disc off and then we'll start putting new disc back on. We'll get his pads in. We'll rewind his caliper back in so we've got enough room to get his new pads in. So let's get that on. Let's get that off. So it turns out his 32-year-old caliper's not seized after all. Oh, baby. Oh, she was tight. These bolts are untighter than the budget on this build. I swear, every bolt has been personally trained to ruin my day. There's rust everywhere. It's like the car's been stored in ocean since 1992. But this is a build, and every battle gets us closer to the win. Well, that's bottom one loose. That's bottom one loose. This is where I take my chin off. Ooh. And that's his top one loose. That's it, that's his carrier off. We'll whip this disc off and we'll put it all back together. This is another thing that's seized on. Disc seized onto hub, so it's now time to get some brute force, get that hammer on it to get this disc off. Before the new disc go on, we clean hub surface, because if this isn't perfect, you get wobbles through steering wheel, and it's not pleasant. We've got it all laid out, it's clean, it feels like we're finally doing the car a favour after years of neglect. Now we've just given his hub a quick clean up. We're going to get all his new pads, new discs built back up this side, and while we're here, I did mention in my first video that it actually needed wheel bearings tightening up, which we're going to do once it's all built back up and before we put wheel on. So let's get this front corner built. And now it's a simple role reversal of when we've removed it. We'll get his disc on, we'll put his carrier on, we'll put his pads in his caliper, bolt it all up, move on to the rear. So that's what come out, and that's what's going in. I mean, no wonder it didn't really stop when it was grinding. And while I was concentrating on driver's side, Lewis concentrated on passenger side, and just like that, the new discs are on. They're shiny and they're beautiful. It's a small transformation, but such a satisfying one. All his new pads are in, and now it feels like we're actually getting somewhere. So when we move around to the back, these calipers are a little bit different to the front. Pads don't actually slide in. Well, they do slide in, but they're held in by these two little pins which you've got to knock out, which gives you access to pads. So once them pins are out, we can start by undoing caliper, take caliper off, and it's a case of getting discs out, getting disc off, exactly the same process as front. So for his handbrake on rear, it's got some drum brakes, and what I'm doing is just putting a screwdriver in to loosen wheel off so his shoes come away from drum. Then we can take his helper screw out, and then we can just start by taking this disc off. But surprise, surprise, this one was seized on as well, so we had to bring some brute force once again. So now his disc back on, we're going to readjust this handbrake with that wheel again. We're going to tighten it up till I can't spin disc anymore, and I'm just going to back it off one tooth, and hopefully disc comes free so we've got a nice strong handbrake. And now we can just finish up on this side by sliding his pads in, putting his pad clips in, and putting them pins in to hold his pads in place, and that's job done for this side. Right, that's one rear done. We'll move on to passenger side rear. We'll get that all built back up and I'll show you when it's finished. So that's it, that's fresh brakes on all four corners of this Merc. Next up, we're going to move on to servicing, and this Copart Merc might actually be roadworthy soon, which is kind of crazy. And one last little job, let's tighten this wheel bearing up. Pop his cap off, undo the Allen key on top, turn it not even a quarter a turn clockwise. That's it tight. Tighten Allen key back up, job's a good one. If you are liking this video so far, please hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button, as it massively helps and we can keep doing little videos like this. So that's the disc and pads all done. Now we're going to swap oil and filter, and we're also going to do a automatic gearbox oil change as well. So we'll get under the car. No, we won't get under the car. We'll drop oil filter out first, we'll get under the car, drop oil, and we'll also do transmission fluid while we're under there. So I've already cracked oil filter off with tool. I'm just going to unscrew it with my hand, take this off so when we get it in air, take sump plug out, it drains oil a little bit quicker. First job is try and get this sump plug out. Somebody's chewed it. So best course of action we thought we might use here is an Irwin bolt extraction socket, and it just did the trick absolutely perfectly. So now we've got a rubbish sump bolt out. We've got a brand new bolt to put in with a new copper washer. Torque setting for these is 25 Newton meters, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to put that in now, and I'm going to top it back up with oil. For money sump plugs actually cost, you may as well just replace these every time you do an oil change, because it just makes a lot more sense than reusing old ones and you get a new washer as well. Now we've got a sump plug in, we're going to drop oil filter back in, and then we're going to fill it up with some oil. So we'll put this in. Bosch, German, car, German. I just like to rub some oil on this seal just before I put it in so it sits nice and snug and it don't snag on seal when you're trying to tighten it up into housing. So oil we're going to be using, we're going to be putting some Millers in. One of the best oils I've ever used. I've run it in all my other cars. Got no issues with this oil, so I'm going to be putting it in this one. We've also got Miller's transmission fluid as well, which we're going to put in. So we're going to put 5 litres in, it takes all 5 litres. So for his automatic transmission, there's none of this electronic nonsense that you've got to have car at a certain temperature to check oil levels and all this. We've got a old school dipstick even for his transmission. So before we drain his fluid, just going to pull dipstick out just like that, let some air through, take his sump pan off, and then we can get his filter out and drain oil. Why is it so tight?
Just chilled it.
So it turns out, as you've just seen, sump plug's completely rounded to bits. It looks like it's welded itself into sump pan, to be honest. So all we're going to have to do is undo pan, drop pan off, drain it that way, and get round to changing pan in future, I guess, because that's the only way we're going to be able to change transmission fluid today. So let's get that dropped off, see what oil comes out. So to drop sump off for his automatic transmission, there's 6, I think the 12mm bolts dotted right end. We'll unscrew that and the pan should just drop from car. Towards you and down.
Ooh, steady ready. Oh, look at all that.
Oh. This will massively overdue a change. Transmission fluid's actually turned brown and it's supposed to be red, so I'm glad we're doing this at this stage. So now as oil's drained, or well, as pan's off, we've got screw there, screw here, screw there, the oil all over my hand, and that's it. There's only 3 screws holding this on, so we'll unscrew that, drop it off and put a new one back in. Now as filter's removed, I'm just going to go around with some brake cleaner and clean all excess oil that's just left in here before we put new filter back in. So with new filter as well, we got a new seal for this, so we're just going to take this seal off, clean sump out before we put it back on, and then we'll fill it up with oil. So now that's the sump all cleaned up, we can start by adding this new seal we got with us Baby Benz kit as well. So we'll get that on and then we can start building full car back together. So here it is as well, as you can see, Miller's premium automatic transmission fluid. So we're going to fill it up through dipstick tube. That's where we're going to put this in. So it's going to take quite a while to fill up. So we're going to put some in, see where we end up.
1 eternity later.
So we've got 5 litres of engine oil in. We've got about 4 litres of transmission fluid in. We've checked as dipsticks. They're all perfect. Levels are exactly where they need to be. Last job, let's get these wheels on and let's get it off this ramp. That's another job ticked off. The 190 is slowly becoming a car again. Next time, we focus on the fun stuff, looks, and finally giving this legend the respect it deserves. So subscribe so you don't miss part 4. It's going to be a good one.